r/ask Reddit. What popular rumor in your school turned out to be true? Two of the science teachers douche rooms together. Found out cause one of their sons was a student at it. Apparently this happens a lot, but this was in Norcal. Mayo they are just collaborating with their curriculums. I feel like that's just a science teacher thing to do. My previous chem professor was definitely into psychedelics and my current chem professor is widely suspected of being a cocaine fan. In middle school, there was a rumor my 7th-8th grade social studies teacher owned a pet donkey. Turned out to be true. The donkey's name was Pedro the Donkey. I am so glad there are some wholesome content after 99% comments of teachers' students ducking. He was cool. All my teachers were great. One teacher had me moved into the advanced class. In said class, he took me in my second day of class at 6:30 AM to help me cram for an exam on the European countries on a map. I was able to get a 115% due to knowing capitals. He teacher of the year that year. Best teacher I ever had. I still have all of Europe memorized on the map. Forget Asia or Africa though. For some reason, I can point out 75% of South America though. Some girl had sex with her half-brother. We all thought it was rumor until she got drunk at a party and told everyone. Same in my school, but they were actually brothers. Girl I was in classes with all through elementary school and into junior high. We were in the gifted class, so we always had the same classmates. Seemed oddly close to her brother. In 9th grade she hid a pregnancy from everyone including her parents until the birth. She delivered the baby at home. And she and the brother killed the newborn and threw it into a dumpster. The baby was his. She only served 3 years and was released at 18. Rumor was our new substitute English teacher was suspended years back for choking out a student. By the end of the week with him he threw a table at a student and threatened to kill him. We were debriefed by our usual teacher when he came back. Was confirmed. We were not surprised. Open bracket. Edit. We were outright shitheads and did everything we could to test this rumor. Kids are terrible. Open bracket. Edit it. Given my guilt on receiving karma for being a terrible student, thought I'd give a quick shout out to all the teachers out there. You guys are ducking champions that go way underappreciated, and not just by your students, but for all the youngins reading all these comments thinking that ducking hilarious yeah sounds about right. What a psycho. Adulting can be brutal and very few jobs are as challenging as fronting a room full of teenagers that will destroy you given the chance and being able to not let it get to you. We may have a greater level of responsibility, but we're still human. This happened with my 8th grade English teacher. Jesus. Would have thought he'd be nicer based on that book. It wasn't really a rumor, more of an open secret. One of our English teachers was in the IRA. One of our history teachers once showed us a documentary about the early years of the Troubles, mainly the civil rights movement, and sure enough, in the film, you can see our English teacher standing holding a rifle without even a mask on him. At that point it wasn't really a secret anymore. IRA membership was supposed to be secret, but if you were in it everyone knew about. The fact his membership was confirmed with that video always made me laugh. Edit was not expecting this to take off the way it did overnight. So here's a bit more context. This happened over 20 years ago. The school is in the north of Ireland, in a Republican area. A lot of people, myself included, would have had relatives involved with the IRA and or INLA. For example, the father of one of the boys in my year at school was a genuine local legend because of what he had done during the 70s when he was on the run. Other people would have been very close relations to a few of the hunger strikers who died in 1981. Everyone, and I mean everyone, would personally know a member of those organizations, even if they weren't related to one. What I'm saying here is, the IRA were an entirely normal part of our society. The vast majority of people would have seen them as legitimate and no different to how other normal societies would view their police and armed forces. So, whenever we seen our teacher in the video, no one was shocked or anything like that. Everyone already had an idea that he'd been a member. We just thought it was funny that he wasn't wearing a mask. A little ironic that they were the English teacher. Huh. One of the reasons the English were always so harsh on the Irish was that the Irish immediately outclassed them in the use of their own language the second they were forced to learn it. There was a rumor going around in my high school that an English teacher and a biology teacher were sleeping with each other. I thought it didn't make any sense at all. Other than being strict teachers who graded harshly, it's not like they had anything in common, and I'd never even seen them talking to each other or interacting in any way. They were both married, and besides, she was youngish and attractive and he was not. I had always figured that someone who managed to flunk both classes at the same time just decided to start a rumor. My brother is 6 years younger than me, and during his time at the school they both were fired suddenly in the middle of the school year. Turns out it was true all along. They had been caught fraternizing on school grounds. I was pretty surprised. Of all the weird rumors that go around in a typical school, that was the one that had to be true. How did the students find out? He saw the teachers making babies in the closet, and they saw one of the babies and the baby looked at him. Rumor was the junior high English teacher was a bit of a perv. Most of our parents would say, hey, stop joking about that. Turned out he was. About 10 years ago he was arrested, charged and convicted on child porn charges. Edit. For all the people asking, because I can't answer each one individually, he wasn't discovered and charged until after he'd been teaching for years. Almost a decade after I graduated from HS. There was a complaint he'd been selling weed in exchange for, and finally one of the parents got wind. Police raided his place, found weed and tapes and other things. He was put in jail and of course lost his job. Got stabbed by one of his prior victims, so there's some justice. Small towns. Edit 2. I get that people are upset about background checks, but this was in the late 70s, early 80s, so let's face it, background checks were mostly calling references and previous jobs. It was simpler, stupider time. Bit of a perv seems slightly understated. Bit of a pedophile. The new teacher was rumored to be a pedophile. We found out it was true when he got arrested just a couple days into the second semester. How did the rumors even start? Not OP, but I found out 2 of my teachers were pedos. One was obvious. He would go over to girls' desks and stand behind them so he'd get a great view of their cleavage work. He was fired for dating his student. They got married when she turned 18. Never knew what happened with them. And I found out about the other. She was one of the school's gym teacher and was hooking up with a friend of a friend's sister. They got away with it, as far as I know. This was a rumor that went around my elementary school. Basically my school had a lockdown, but they didn't tell us what it was for. One kid came in the next day and told us that his sister said it was a cow in the field in between the high school and middle school. So my 2nd grade class went and told everyone else in the school. The next day we had an assembly that confirmed this rumor. Hahaha, this one's kinda funny. Hopefully the cow got taken off the field safely. The next day's menu read, grilled cheese sandwich hamburger. A young lady wanked off her pet dog at a house party. I heard it was true when I went to talk to her, because she was in my friend circle. I said, hey, just so you know, I don't believe those disgusting rumors going around that you blew a dog. That's just awful. I don't know who would even come up with something like that. And she up and said, yeah, I didn't blow him, I just tugged him off a bit. Stunned silence. Edit. Please stop asking what country state school this was. For one thing, I'm not trying to out the dog wanker. Plus I'm not going to thereby say what high school I myself went to. But most importantly, every time one of you guesses incorrectly, that's just another unfortunate incident of pet molestation I'm now aware of. One incident was enough. Too much. Even. That reminds me of Cartman giving a dog a red rocket in South Park. Red rocket. Red rocket. In middle school, we had a cool social studies teacher. He loved the popular boys, especially the athletes, and not only ignored bullying in his classes of unpopular kids, he often took part in it. He also offered up his services for tutoring to these boys. Everyone always thought he was a child molester, except the popular boys who would threaten you if they heard you talk bad about him. When we came back to school at the beginning of 8th grade, he was gone. As was one of the more popular boys in school. He transferred to an insanely expensive private school. Turns out, sure enough, he was molested by the teacher several times during tutoring sessions at the teacher's house. The school district agreed to pay to send the kid to private school as part of a settlement. Oof, that's gonna affect the kid hard. Hope the kid is okay. It was a really long time ago, back in the 80s. It was funny because nobody saw or heard from him for years. Then out of nowhere he showed up at our senior prom as a date of the girl that was his elementary school girlfriend. He seemed fine, but who knows what kind of life he's had since then. Our freshman science teacher was a massive jerk to any girl and would frequently throw the dress code book at girls for the slightest issue. Everyone said it was because he was pissed his daughter became a stripper. That ended up being true. Dang, that's rough. My personal run-in with him was a day I was wearing a dress code approved skirt to class and I was trying to be sneaky about texting in his class. He saw me, so I stuck my phone under my leg on the chair and he reached in my lap to try to grab it. I ended up getting switched out of his class because of it. My middle school math teacher, married man, was having an affair with one of the special education teachers. Went on for years. After I graduated high school, he killed himself when the other woman gave him an ultimatum. Confirmed by a family member that worked as a substitute teacher. Coincidentally, said family member also had an affair with another employee there that resulted in that employee shooting herself in front of my mother. What a roller coaster of events. That's one word for it. Morbid is another. We had heard an underclassman, she was 15ish, was sleeping with a local army guy, but nobody really believed it until the day our school got locked down. Her boyfriend showed up with a knife. The boyfriend, in his 30s, was intending to force her go get an abortion, but our principal was a badass who locked her in his office, then took the boyfriend down and held him in a headlock until the cops arrived. Edit. This absolutely was a case of statutory rape. I use the term boyfriend BC, that's how she still refers to him, and I didn't think about changing it. My bad. I apologize if I angered anyone. That's a very badass principal indeed. He was great. He would do the whole we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, dance just BC. He felt whimsical. At the same time, he'd be there if you needed help regardless of the reason. The band teacher was having a long-term affair with one of the students. We were in 8th grade. Her parents apparently knew about it all along and were fine with it, but one of the other band parents noticed inappropriate behavior when she was helping chaperone a Disney trip they were all on. It was big news, lol. Why are the parents okay with it? What happened to the teacher afterwards? Oh, he was in huge trouble. It was all over the news. I'm not sure what he ended up being charged with, but it was a major scandal. I seem to remember that the parents were weird, obviously, and really liked him and I guess thought they were going to get married or something. I can't even comprehend, lol. There were rumors that there was a network of underground tunnels that connected every building on my college campus. Didn't believe it till I walked through them myself. I know that's not about teachers ducking kids or incest or whatever, but I still think it's interesting. Edit. Well, I kind of expected this to stay buried, but here we are. To clear up the mysteries still remaining and elaborate a bit. 1. Grand Valley State University in Grand Rapids, MI, but the tunnels are under the main campus in Allendale. 2. Can confirm they were maintenance and steam tunnels. Some older sections may have doubled as bomb shelters. As a student, I had a job that allowed me to request keys to pretty much anywhere on campus without question. The first time I found the tunnels was because I opened a door labeled maintenance in the basement of a dorm and found myself staring down an incredibly long corridor. For my GV brothers and sisters who are on campus now, look for the big metal cylinders scattered throughout campus that look like huge central AC units or HVAC related. You'll sometimes hear fan sounds coming from them. Those are access points, vents to the tunnel system. Off the top of my head, I know there's one outside Mackinac Hall, one outside Kirkhoff if you enter by the clock tower, and one outside the back entrance to the music building. There's dozens more, but it's been a while. Happy hunting. I had a science teacher that was rumored to get a boner whenever he started shouting. We thought it was a myth until we noticed it for real. He would always try put one leg up on a chair to hide it. Imagine him shouting breakfast is ready, then a boner starts to appear. PTSD is no joke. Hope the history teacher is okay. When I was a sophomore in high school, the basketball coach became the new principal of the school. He had a girl who was on the girls basketball team worked in his office. Open bracket. Back then students were allowed to work as an office assistant if their grades were good and if they are seniors. She was there almost all the time even when she wasn't supposed to be. The rumor was that they were sleeping with each other because people would see them doing things after school, like running together and go out to eat somewhere. These rumors were later blew off as nothing because even though he was a principal, he still devoted his time to an after-school jogging running class to help students and teachers stay active and keep in shape, and buying dinner at McDonald's for a student isn't the same as taking them somewhere more extravagant like steakhouse. After I came back as a junior from summer break, everyone in our class and in the entire school found out that they both got married and were expecting their first child together. He was married with children from a previous marriage that ended after the girl graduated from high school. Oof, how long are they married now? They got married in '98, and my youngest sister graduated there 2016, and I remember seeing him as a principal still but didn't see her. I don't know if they're still together or not. Paige was pregnant. None of us believed her. We were 13 and we were just about to start sex ed classes in a few weeks to learn about sex, so we all thought she was making it up. Then she started to gain weight, but she had always been kind of overweight, and so no one really believed her then either. Then she brought sonogram pictures, and because she was sick of people not believing her, most people believed her after that. Then she got taken out of school, and this was back when FB was super popular and everyone was talking about her baby. A few months later she had posted all these pictures. Sorry, I didn't believe you, Paige. I looked her back up when I was 15. She had a second kid. Reminds of the first day of health class my freshman year. The teacher said, "Jane Doe. Is Jane Doe here?" A classmate said out loud, "Yeah, she had a baby yesterday." The teacher went, "Okay, you could have said that privately." Everyone knew she was a 14-year-old teen mom when she came back to class. She later dropped out sophomore year. TF. That a girl in my grade gave her older brother a BJ with Pop Rocks in her mouth for $50. Her fiance confirmed it for us years later. Turns out it's a fetish of hers. The Pop Rocks, not the incest. Kinda wild that not only would someone get engaged to a mate with a known history of doing that, but also talk about it and confirm rumors. My fiance is a total freak, bruh. Oh, by the way, it's $75 without the family discount. Hopefully it all ended on the BJ and nothing further happened between them. That this hot chick at my school was banging 2 army recruiters. Found out it was true when they were on the news being arrested. One of them ran to I think Michigan with his wife and kids. Imagine trying to explain to your wife that you need to uproot everything including your kids and flee to another state because you ducked a high schooler. I know someone who did almost exactly that same thing. Husband got caught flashing his penis to a minor. The whole family quickly moved states away to avoid him going to jail. He got arrested anyway. They divorced when he got out of prison. Then she remarried him years later. They got divorced for second time after that. The band director was grooming and seducing his favorite female percussionists. Edit. Apparently this is something of a common occurrence. Anywho, he finally got caught with one of the girls in his car late at night. I was being a father figure, mentor, yada yada yada. Everyone knew the real story. He lost his job and personally I've never heard about him since. That I'm a lesbian. IDK how this 7th and 8th grade more herdikas at 2 different schools knew before I did. When I was in 4th grade this new kid came to school. And he way gay. Like flaming. Stereotypical. Where are the cameras because this is 90s sitcom gay. Gay. Most of us hadn't even started puberty yet. But still. This little boy was gay. He liked doing most of the other stuff little boys liked doing. Not very athletic. Kinda nerdy, so we got along real well. Anyway, near as I can tell, that gay little boy grew up to be a gay man. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.